Well, good deal. Let's just do a quick recap, and then we're going to jump into what you need to be, what you need to do to be iconic, because that's the goal, is to be iconic so that you're memorable, so that you're found wherever people are looking. Last week, we talked about the importance of figuring out basically who you want to be when you grow up, right? Who do you want to be? How do you want to put yourself out there in the market? And who is your ideal client? So when it comes to social media, the key to all of this is knowing who your people are, because you need to know where they are and how to reach them. One of the places for commercial real estate, the number one place, is LinkedIn. Each one of you should have a LinkedIn personal page and a LinkedIn business page. And the reason why you need your business page is because you cannot run ads on LinkedIn unless you have a business page. So you may have a page, not get that much traction. You can put your post on your business page and then share it to your personal. That will be fine. But you need it because LinkedIn requires that for you to run ads. And the way LinkedIn is set up right now, it is the best platform to actually reach the actual executives that you're trying to reach. So let's say if you're looking for a hotel, you're trying to get into the hotel market, well then you need to be putting your ads in front of hotel managers, in front of hotel developers, anybody related to anything that's hotel, right? LinkedIn allows you to do that. If you are focused in your geographic market, we'll say Daniel's in Palm Springs. If Daniel wants to reach CEOs, if he wants to reach other developers, he can go in, actually choose the word developer, and target it, start getting his ads in front of everyone that's in, we'll say Palm Springs or Palm Desert, So the best investment that you all can make for yourself if you're going to run ads is making sure that you've got your LinkedIn business page set up and that it's optimized, that it looks good. You got your history right. If you were a bartender at some point, we don't need the bartender part in your work history. It needs to be all related to work that's commercial real estate related, right? We actually had that happen. A young lady that's only been in the business for 2 years. She had her commercial real estate listing, her experience as a commercial real estate agent there, and then she had her experience as a hostess at one of the chains like Applebee's or Chili's, and then she had her server experience in there, which is all fine. Lord knows I've done that too at some point in my career, but it's not what you want to have on your profile if you are trying to represent someone with high net worth property, right? Because somewhere they have in their head that you're still a waitress or a server, when that's got nothing to do with anything. So you don't want to have things that have nothing to do with your current, that doesn't paint that picture that you're qualified to handle their investments. So LinkedIn is your number one that you all should make sure you have. Number two, Facebook business page. And with your Facebook business page, I think we touched on this last week, so I'm not going to belabor the point. The only reason why you need it is one is because if someone is looking for a commercial real estate agency on Facebook, you want to make sure that you're found, that you're there. So the one thing to focus on Facebook is your category. You want to make sure that commercial real estate agency comes up first. If you are one of my people that's doing both, if you're doing residential and commercial, do real estate company as your second. And then your third one can be whatever it is that you're doing. If you do property management, you can put that on there. If you do business brokerage, I don't know if business brokerage is a category, but you can find a third one that fits. What you don't want to do is put real estate service. For some reason, most of the people's business that we handle, we normally see real estate service in there, and that doesn't really tell a person what you're looking for, and that's not what people search for when they're looking for a commercial real estate broker. So make sure you've got that. And then how you decide on whether you're going to do Instagram, Twitter, or some of the others, or Clubhouse, you would need to think about what's your strong point. What do you enjoy? If you are going to podcast, Clubhouse is your spot. That's the place to get involved and get started, because Clubhouse is all audio. If you are going to give out a bunch of articles, if you're going to put yourself out there as kind of a newsmaker type influencer, then you'd want to do Twitter. Yeah. If you're not going to do that, skip Twitter altogether.
Right. And also you're playing to your strengths. If you know that you're a better speaker, that, and you get on video and you feel nervous and all that, and that's okay because you can get past the nervousness, so don't let that stop you from video because it's awesome. But if you just want to get your feet in and say, I can knock out some pretty good data real quick, I can answer some questions really quick on audio and make it easier on yourself doing that, would be a really good thing. Or if you're a really good writer and you like to write, you just love writing and you're just good at it, start with that medium because that's going to give you the momentum that you need and the confidence that you need, and it can always be repurposed. You know what I mean? If you're not if you're an excellent writer, you can get a spokesperson to speak for you. I feel like everyone that's on this call right now is definitely a video person. It's just a matter of practice. You know what I mean? So that's just another thing to add to your repertoire. If you want to like start out comfortably like that, because you're going to eventually do it anyway. Our main goal for everyone on this call is to own their market with media, for you to be a media company, because that's the only ones that are going to survive, and that's the only ones that are going to rise to attention in this upcoming new, way of doing things that we've all kind of landed into. And this week has been amazing. We've put a lot of resources and talent and time into creating and collecting the assets that you're going to need in order to make this happen. Researching the market, finding out what questions are being asked on Google, and putting them into packages that we're going to be able to deliver to you so that you'll have the information or starting point for being able to create that media, whether it be on video or audio or textual or any of those things. So you guys are going to be fully ready, but having that mindset of, one, that you're a corporation, and that you are a media company, and that you're a big company, because that's what's going to get you the big deals, and that's what we want you guys to have. That's what you will have at the end of this course.
All right, well, that makes your last thing YouTube, right? Everybody should have a YouTube channel no matter what, and your YouTube channel should be set up based on your area. Whatever people are putting into the search engines to find you, that's what you should be putting in to the search engines. Awesome. So my favorite thing before you, or while you're setting up your social media pages and making sure they're right, my favorite thing is photos. So that's what we're talking about right now. Yes. The number one thing you need to be iconic, you need photos, and you need lots of photos. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go through, because I know some of you on this call have already gotten photos. Like Daniel has fantastic photos. Targan has fantastic photos. Susan and Kendra, you all are coming up, I think this at the end of this month or the first of next month. Mabel, first of next month. For everyone else, and Denise, what we have here in Dallas, we have an actual expressions coach. That's an image consultant that shows you exactly like how to do your expressions, how to stand, can take some of our shyest clients and made them into like these rock stars. Right. So for those of you like if you're in Texas, like Denise is in Texas, if you wanted to come to us, then we would put you with that person. Then we have a top photographer who's done President Barack Obama, the Dalai Lama, tons of models, and he's done a lot of famous people. Phenomenal. He is phenomenal. The best pictures I ever had my entire career, he took them. He's in Arizona, so he's our West Coast person. And when we can get him, he's like the host of The Lonely Planet. He does what's that guy's name? I was going to say Rick Scott, but that's the Florida governor.
Rick Ross?
Not Rick Ross. There is it's a famous travel book. You know what I'm talking about? His name is Rick Steve or Steve something. Either way, he is a famous travel guide that has these phenomenal pictures in, and he's the photographer for that. He's done it for years and years and years. So when we hire photographers, it's either someone that we have truly vetted, that we work with. They're one of the best in the business. So the people that we normally send out are people who are celebrity photographers, or they're just really good at what they do for most of the people, and we have our own network of people for that. But I want to show you all, for those of you who need to get photos, how do you choose someone to do your photos? What should you ask for? Because it's very easy to hire the wrong person. It's very easy not to know what to ask, and it gets you in trouble. or you get these photos that are substandard. Normally, the first thing we do with all of our clients is we get photos done, even if they have them. Like I told you all last week, Kendra's the only person ever in the history of doing this over 10 something years that I have not said, oh, you need new photos. She's the only one ever. So I want to go over that with you. So you want to share that screen?
Yes.
And for those of you, like, even if you have photos already, if you have a team, this is stuff that you're going to need to know that will make things a little bit easier for you and will save you some money and save you from being disappointed in your photos.
Okay, can everybody see that screen there?
All right, so where do you find them? Average person, thumbtack.com. Thumbtack is awesome, has a lot of professional photographers on there. Unfortunately, it also has some amateurs on there. So you want to check the reviews, see what people say, see how many reviews they have. You want to check their portfolio. If they are a wedding photographer, guys, you should probably skip them. If they are normally a wedding photographer and they do kids and babies, you want to skip them. And the reason being, we have hired people in the past, in the early days of doing this, who were phenomenal wedding photographers, which is a lot of it's very cinematic. And so it's easier to get those shots if you're a creative person. But when it comes to capturing the shots that you need for business, for the power look that makes you approachable and personable at the same time and likable, they normally don't know how to do that because they are good at capturing the moment. They don't know how to direct you. So the pictures, we've had to have them redone a couple of times, and it's not because the people weren't good photographers. They just were not good at this area of business. So if Facebook business, you can go in and just do a search, a general search, put photographers your city, and whoever's actually working that area, their page will come up. Those are good because it gives you an opportunity to see the people who are working their business. A lot of times not people that are treating it as a hobby. They will be on Facebook business. So you can just search photographer, your area, your city, and the people who are working that area, you'll find them. You'll be able to check their reviews. You'll be able to see the type of photos they have. They're normally very easy to get in contact with because you could just hit Messenger and they're going to respond pretty much right away. And there are groups in your area, like in Kentucky. Kentucky and Alabama, they have a photography group where it's just photographers in there. And when you ask to join that group, so let's just say if you do photographers Kentucky or photographers Ashland, and it comes up, we're not going to that yet, and it comes up, you want to, they're going to ask you a question. Are you a photographer? Because if not, you can't join. And what you want to say to them is that I am not a photographer. I am looking for a photographer in this area. So let's say Joanna, I'm looking for a photographer in Wilton, and I'm having a hard time finding one. They will let you into their group, and then you can go in and post. Then once you've got your pictures, you found your photographer, you can just jump out.
Yeah. And another thing to keep in mind too, you want to find someone who this is what they do, and that is it. Right. They don't do anything but photography because that's commitment. That's the 10,000 hours methodology that it takes to achieve mastery. They've done that. So that's another thing that we usually look for too. Is this person a fully committed photographer?
Right.
That's all they do because they're going to have things that they've learned and skills they've developed that you can only develop through like full commitment. So that's another important thing to do. Say, is this your full-time gig?
Right.
And if it is, you probably got a pretty good one on that.
Right. While we're on that subject, a lot of times you may be tempted if you tell someone that you're looking, I'm getting some photos done. Oh, I know so-and-so. She's,
she's got a nice
she's
camera.
a photographer. Right. She's got a nice camera.
Yeah.
What normally happens with those people are normally okay to take a picture, but you normally only get a couple of pictures. We've done that before. We've had clients do that before, and then they're disappointed because the pictures didn't come out the way you thought they should. You want to get someone who's really focused on doing it. And if you do decide, let's say you don't have the budget to pay for photos, right? If you do decide to give someone a shot because it's working out for you because you don't really have the money to pay for photos right now, the amount of money it takes to do that, then don't pay them for the photos. Treat it as a portfolio piece. Say, yeah, I know you need a portfolio piece. I could use some photos, so let's just give it a shot and see if it works out. Because if you don't treat it like that, what happens is there's disappointment. I don't like my pictures.
Right.
You took them, and then you've got a friendship that's going to get damaged over this. So treat it as you're helping them out, they're helping you out. Let's see if this is gonna work. This way, if you don't like the pictures, it's okay. You go get a professional and get the photos. There's no hard feelings, and that's it. But if you pay them for the photos and they do not come out the way you thought they should, then there's issues. Just avoid all of that from the beginning.
Yeah, and another thing too is like when you're ready to do it, it's always good to go to YouTube and to watch how to model if you're not a professional model. And they'll show you how to stand this way, forward, hands in pocket. And so you'll go in there with about 5 poses already. If you go into the more amateur route, so that you can at least control the narrative somewhat. Because a lot of times when you tell people you're getting real estate photos, they think of that one pose, that one headshot, and that's just it.
That's traditional real estate pose.
And then they'll just do that and be like, okay, it's over.
Get your headshot. And you're like, what? I need pictures. And we're going to talk about the type pictures that you're going to ask them for in just a second. The third on this list, Craigslist. Some people love Craigslist. Some people completely freak out from Craigslist because they remember when it was on the news that somebody got killed from somebody they bought something from on Craigslist. Right. When it comes to Craigslist, you will find that really high-end photographers who are at a low point in their business are sometimes on Craigslist. They don't put out there that they're, the celebrity photographer. In fact, one of the ones that we've used, we actually found him on Craigslist of all places because we couldn't find anyone to cover the project. And I was shocked with who it was that was on there.
That was amazing.
So if you post on Craigslist, here's what you want to say. You are looking for a photographer for a photo influencer style real estate photo shoot. You are looking for 5 to 7 edited pictures. You want it around this time of day. This is the week that I'm thinking about. If you are interested, and if you can put the pay an amount in there, or you may not want to put an amount in there and say, if you're interested in this project, send me samples of your work, your equipment list, and your rate. You're going to get a bunch of people that's going to respond to you and say, is this gig still available? Don't respond, just delete it. Here's, I charge $600 and no portfolio, just delete. Mm-hmm. If they don't give you what you asked for,
right,
send me your portfolio so I can, decide if I even like your stuff, right? If you're going to work out for me, send me your price so I can see if this fits in my marketing budget right now. If they don't give you that, don't bother to keep going through them. People who are professional, they're posting on Craigslist, and they're not killers. They're not going to kidnap you. There are some professionals that are trying to get paid for a job. And if, it leaves clues. If they have a portfolio and a website, and you can contact them and talk to them and fill them out, you're not going to have an issue. It's just a marketing tool. And then the last one is Google search. Do you remember how I told you all that all of you need to be in the Google 3-pack, top of Google Maps? Photographers who are really good that treat this as a full-time business, they normally have studios. They are on Google and they have set themselves up as a business. If you're looking for a place with a studio, you can find them on Thumbtack, you can find some on Facebook, but the ones on Google that show up in that 3-pack, you're almost guaranteed that they're going to have a studio and they are super professional and this is all they do.
Right.
So that's your last spot. Between these 4 places, you should be able to find a really good photographer. Sometimes you will find that photographer on all 4 of these places. They'll be on Facebook, they'll be on Thumbtack, Craigslist, Google search, and 50 other sites because they are serious about their business. Let's go over a scheduling negotiation so that you know what you should be asking. The more informed you are when it comes to working with a photographer, the better this is going to work out for you, and it's going to save a lot of frustration in the end. What you want from them, unless you're in an area where the weather is bad, right? Like if the weather is really bad, like we've got one on this call that we can't do the photos until April because the weather is just unpredictable, right? And it's too cold. You want an outdoor shoot during golden hour. Golden hour is in the evening. Ross, you want to talk about golden hour, evening and the morning, when that time is
Yes.
for them?
Yeah, and you can look it up. Just look up what time is golden hour in my, wherever you're at in your city, right? Because it changes from season to season, daylight savings time and whatnot. But it's usually that hour where the sun is really pretty and really golden. So because when the sun is up high and it's over your head, it creates shadows. You get the raccoon eyes and stuff in there, and you don't want that, right? You want that soft, subdued light that just makes you look amazing. It works on every skin tone, every skin color, and it's really good. So you want to go for either, if you're a morning person, go for that morning shoot. We'll schedule a morning shoot for you. If you're more of an evening person, we'll go for the evening. But whenever you're feeling at your best and your most hype, you want to take advantage of that light. There's nothing like, our brains are basically hardwired to see certain things very nice. We love nature. Just we're made like that, right? We love how things look in nature. And one of the, so golden hour is great, but one of the things that I've seen people kind of mistakenly do, that's why you got to make sure your photographer has a really good camera with a really shallow depth of field. That means that it can make that background blurred out really good, because the creamier and the nicer that background blur is, the more high end your photos are going to look. That's why they have to be a legit photographer, because a legit photographer will know that. But you don't want to be in a place where it's a lot of bare trees, you know what I mean, that are just sticking straight up close together, because you don't want nothing coming out of your head, you know what I mean? These are like basic things that a good photographer will know that already. So if you have a place that you just love because you just think it's so beautiful and it feels good, it might not necessarily be good for photography.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because with photography, the only thing you need is like a, 7x7 space. That's all you really need. You're not dealing with the whole area and the beauty of that area. You're dealing with, are there particular spaces that you can go to? And here's a hack for you that's really amazing. We did a really good shoot a while back. But what I do is I'll look for, like, and then that was in this area. We're in Frisco, and it's some pretty high-end places here that are really amazing, right? So I looked up what is the most expensive hotel here, and that was the Marriott. It's a big, beautiful Marriott downtown. So we went into that Marriott. We took our client in there,
Yeah.
and we took advantage of those ridiculously beautiful, ornate walls and things like that. So my photographers go around, bam, bam, just taking just amazing pictures. There's a fountain outside and all that. So find the fanciest place in your area. Either sometimes art museums. We got an art museum down in St. Pete. What's it called? That
The Salvador Dali,
Salvador
where
Dali.
Targan went.
Right,
Yeah.
very creative and colorful and cool things like that, where he can just turn you this way as something cool to look at, turn you this way as something cool to look at. Because in those really high-end hotels and stuff, they have these really huge chairs that cost so much money. But associating your brand with luxury by having a background like that, or having it associated with beauty of nature by having a really beautiful background like that, or something that kind of just stands out and pops from an artistic perspective, is going to lend that credibility and that thing to your actual brand too. So that's something to look out for. Where are you going to take these pictures? And some photographers can make anything. They can make a junkyard look amazing because they're just that good. So the best thing is to start with a really good photographer.
That's true. So this is what you want to negotiate, guys. I know you guys have probably seen. I'm sorry. You have a question, Orlando?
Yeah, so when you just talked about Ross right now, and just realized in the first section you talked about ask for equipment list. What are we looking for in an equipment list? Since you mentioned that you want that equipment to be able to give that bokeh effect.
Yeah.
So when we talk about what are we looking for?
Just as long as it says DSLR and they have multiple lenses. You know what I mean? Because then you're good. Because I've worked with photographers who had older equipment, but they were so dialed in with their equipment. And as long as they have multiple lenses, because lenses will make your different ways. You know what I mean? If you have a 50 to 100 millimeter, that's going to be your portrait. If you have a 55 millimeter, that's going to be your close up or whatever. So they will know if they have multiple lenses. That means they're ready. They're ready to shoot you full body. They're ready to shoot you close up. So multiple lenses, and to make sure they have a DSLR camera, a digital single lens reflex camera, because that's going to give you that bokeh. That's going to give you that.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
All right. So what you want to negotiate with them, guys? Outdoor shoot during golden hour. You want to make sure that you say, I want one wardrobe change or two wardrobe changes. You want to make sure that you know exactly how many photos you're going to receive. Never, ever, 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 ever hire a photographer and not know exactly what you're going to get, because there is a trend of photographers out there that will tell you, yes, I'll charge you $350, $400 for your shoot. And you're like, okay, great, awesome. And then it's like, oh, and I'm going to include one edited photo. And oh, if you want additional photos,
Right.
it's $25 a piece, it's
Yeah.
$40 a piece,
Right.
$35 a piece. The problem with that is you're going to see, if they're a good photographer, of course you're going to want more photos, right? So your photo shoot that was $350 is now $1,200.
Right.
And you don't know, like, whoa, how'd that happen? Oh, wait, I can't have these photos?
Right.
So it's an emotion, it's a psychological thing. They know you're going to want the photos. Some of them will spend extra time with you
Right.
just to make sure that you've got these extra photos
Because they want you to want them.
because
Right.
they want you to buy them.
Right.
They know when you see them, you're going to love them. And now you've gone from $350 to $1,200, or you're just not going to be able to get the photos. So
Right.
these two things right here.
I got to do a quick short story. My first photography gig was working at Walmart at this little photo booth they had there, right? That was way back in the days before I even met Tracy, but over 10 years ago, right? But that was a gig. Come in for a free photo shoot of your cute little kids, and then I'd change it like 6 different things and do all that. And at the end, of course, the parents see that one photo that they can get for $12 or whatever, or they can get these extra bonus ones, and everyone left out of there spending like $150, $200 because we were trained to take the pictures good. Some are taking that mentality to the streets now, and it's not cool. But because you want clarity at the beginning, I don't feel great about that, but it was what they expected. I mean, but if you're talking about negotiating your own pictures and you don't know this is their methodology,
Right.
you want that clear up front. You know what I'm saying? You want to say, what am I getting for this? Do I get all of the pictures? Do I get the digital files? Do I get the originals and all those things like that? You want that clear at the beginning.
At the very beginning, we just had a photo shoot, Target's photo shoot actually, that the photographer didn't tell us till after the fact that there was only 4 included and that there was an extra price. I'm like, meanwhile, Target's got like 50 million awesome pictures in there, so we had to have a conversation about that.
Yes.
So,
I went over and beat them up. That's what happened. No, I didn't.
but being an agency, we have extra leverage and clout.
Yeah.
Being an individual, you don't.
Right.
So, because with us, they want to get the next account and the next one and the next one, so they'll do it. And they want that review from an agency. As an individual, you don't have that advantage. So you want to make sure you know the number of photos you're going to get. 5 to 10 is normal, guys. 5 to 10 edited photos is normal. The photographer that tells you they're only going to give you 1, 2, stay away from them. Request all photos. Say, I need all photos taken at the shoot. If you do not do this in the beginning, you may even want to have that in writing. Not like signed writing, but in an email, something that you can point back to and say, hey, I told you, we talked about this in the beginning. You said I could have all the photos from the shoot. Because if they are influenced by money, if they're having a money issue day, they could come back and say, no, I that was never the case. I'd never give you all the photos. We had one, Ross, we paid like $400 for a shoot for him a few years back, and the photographer wouldn't give us all the photos.
Right.
And he wanted, to get paid like that. So make sure you guys have these 2 things, the number of edited photos, make sure you've asked to make sure that you can have all the photos taken from the shoot, because there'll be some that you won't use right now because you don't need them. But, a year from now, you'll launch into something new and be like, oh yeah, those photos I took would be fantastic for this.
Right.
So make sure you've got them.
And good photographers, you're not going to need much editing at all.
Right.
A good photographer, they're going to nail it. They're going to nail their
Right.
focus, their lighting, and all that stuff, so you'll be really good. And then you can always get them edited later by another person, because there's more than one person knows how to edit photos.
And then you want to know if they're comfortable with directing. What Ross just mentioned about making sure that he's going to send you all for guys about tips for how to model for your for photos for non-models. And how you can do that, just say, and this is what we say to the photographers that we have on our team, or what we said to them when we first got them, is that people in commercial real estate, they are not models. They're not trying to be the fashion model and let me pose this way and that way. They are relying on you to
Yes.
tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Because that's just not your thing, right? You're not trying to be out there, it's like pose, that's not what you're doing, right? So you want to make sure that you say, I'm not comfortable with taking photos. Can I count on you to direct me? Are you good at directing? Because there are people who will just show up with the camera and just take pictures of you thinking you're going to know what to do, and you don't.
Yeah. And see, I want to look strong. I want to look approachable. I want to look like a cool person, you know, and I want some, you know, strong corporate pictures, but I kind of want to mix it up. So if you can direct me through the poses or.
Okay, Daniel Bragg.
Daniel Bragg, and Daniel will tell you that he is the most handsome person on the call. He'll tell you that, don't you? Don't you
He
say
would
that?
never say that. Daniel would never say that. Okay.
He
All
always
right.
says that.
No, that's you. That's guys. Don't listen
I'm
to
just
Ross
joking,
because
joking aside. He's a very humble man.
he is humble and he's
That's
cool.
what a photographer can do for your look.
All right.
Make
So
you
with
look 100
Daniel,
times better.
There you go.
so with Daniel, same thing for all of you guys. You know what we always say for commercial real estate, you need your traditional suit and tie look, right? Like I love these ones here with the paisley. These are my favorites. So he's got his traditional suit and tie, but then he's got all these different looks. See him with the jeans and the white shirt linked up against the wall. Love these here where he's on the steps. The photographer chose the location for me. You know, I told her what I wanted, and she's like, okay, I know the perfect location for this. So, you know, he's in an area where there's not a bunch of skyscrapers and high
Right.
glass buildings. So, you know, it's a different environment. He's out in the desert. So she took all these different shots of him. He's on sitting on the stairs. She's got the close-ups of him with the open collar shirt. And then he switched outfits. Like you see the one like here with the bench. Yeah, you don't know. if
Well,
you
hold
all
on
can
for a
see.
second there. On the left-hand side right there, right under where he's got the white shirt on, like, well, those are cool, but yeah, you see the bouquet, like the close-up pictures, the bouquet in the background, that comes from when you see the blurred, if you go back up. Yeah, if you see the blurred,
Talking about
keep
this
on,
one?
no, keep on going. Yeah, that'll work too. That right there, you see that blur in the background? If you've got a really good photographer, like anything could be back there because the camera is so good, and that's what they do full time, so they know that that's important. So on his close-up shots, he had a lot of great bouquet, they call it.
Okay, so Daniel's got all kind of shots. Like she's got him laughing, which is all stuff that's being used for his social media, for his actual social media post that we're creating for him.
Yeah, and I'm sure she was directing him, look this way, look that way. do
We got him
this.
walking.
Yeah,
And see how like this one right here, he's over here. Well, we can put text on the side of this. We can put text on the bottom. We can, you know, put a layer over this and make it dark.
right. And that's what you want to make sure that they get some shots of, because you want close up, mid, and far away, so that go down one more. Like you see the one at the table there. We'll go back up. Yeah, even these right here with to the left, he can be stating one of his core principles, right? One of his core principles on his social media can go right there. Like, hey, if you're, you know, negotiation is not just this, it's a this, right? Or whatever it is, right? Your house is not just this, it's this. Some kind of principle that he can put on there that stands for his core value.
So what you want to tell your photographer is that I'm going to use some of these for social media. If you get a photographer in the beginning that's overly obsessed about what are you going to use them for, and they tell you it's so that they can determine the rate, just delete and keep going.
Right.
They should only want to know what you want to use them for so they can make sure they're giving you the right look. You know, so Elizabeth took these photos. And with Elizabeth, you know, I told her we need some of them for social. So I need some of him sitting down. I need some of him walking. I need some with him over to the far right.
Right.
That's what I might have this on here. See how he's over to the far right here? That text can go right there.
Right.
Text can go right here. So you want to tell them, I'm going to use some of these for social media. So I need some where I'm over to the right or some over to the far
Where I
left.
got a lot of space, and be real specific with them, where I have a lot of space, so I can put text. Like say if you're shooting for a magazine shoot, and they understand this, because in magazine shooting, you always have to allow for that. Because that's what magazines do, they advertise and things like
Right.
that. So,
All right, so, and then we've got a whole nother set of Daniel where he's got a whole different look. He's got the Mark Cuban look with the white shirt
Right.
open and all that. And he's in a whole different environment.
yeah. You have Kendra's?
No, the link is not available. I wanted to show those, but I'm not going to be able to. Can we hit share screen?
Yes.
All right, let's wrap this up real quick so we can get back to social and why we're taking so much time to talk about photographs. And this is something that you all may need, like for your team. You know, like if you already have your photos, you need to know this for your team. You need to know this if you have to take new photos down the road. Like we did a photo shoot with someone here. She joined a brokerage, Engel and Volker's office, and found out that the colors that they are required to wear are black, red, or white. And she took pictures in a beautiful dark green dress. So the pictures that she had, she couldn't use them for that. So you don't know what's going to come up where you may not be able to use this. All right, last few questions. You want to make sure, we've already talked about lighting and equipment. You want to make sure that you know how they're going to get paid. How's that handled? You want to know ahead of time, because they may tell you to put down a deposit. They may tell you day of. If they tell you they cannot pay online, that's a sign that they might be an amateur or a newbie. Every photographer should be able to get paid online. And then if you guys need, for women, if you all need someone to do professional makeup, you may want to ask them if they do that. Like here we have someone who's a really good makeup artist. We've got an expression coach here, like our photographer here. Dominic, the one that we told you about that's in Arizona, can fly in here. So here, because we're centrally located, we're able to offer a little bit more. But some photographers, they do have someone, especially those husband and wife teams, they may have someone that can do makeup. You want to ask them.
Yeah, they're all
Don't
really
just
connected.
assume. Don't assume that they have it. All right, wardrobe tips. Let's start with guys first. You need 3 looks. Traditional suit and tie, open collar with blazer, no tie. For Daniel, we only have a few pictures of him in the traditional suit and tie, and that's because in commercial real estate, you do still need that. And there may be a room that you have to walk into that is very conservative, financial, where they're going to wonder why you're not wearing a tie. So
Right.
you need to have that traditional suit and tie photo. But my favorite is the open collar with blazer, no tie. Mark Cuban over here, he has his 1 button 2 open for what I would say for you guys, but your collar should be open 2 buttons. I think his is open 3. 2 buttons, not just the top button, because it doesn't look right. The 2 buttons open. If you look at many of the millionaires and billionaires, with the exception of Warren Buffett,
Yeah.
almost all of them have open collar shirts with
Right.
blazers. Robert
Everywhere.
Herjavec, Mark Cuban,
All the
almost
influencers,
all of them.
Yeah.
If you're looking for what's my money look,
Right. Contemporary money look. Because you want an old money look, suit
Right.
and tie,
Suit and
and
tie.
you want the new money look. Just
exactly.
keep that in mind.
So most of your photos you want to take with the open collar with the blazer, and then you need to have an alternative look.
Yeah.
That alternative look should be casual,
Yes.
and it can be a couple of ways, either t-shirt and blazer, your shirt with no blazer, kind of like Mark Cuban has here. I don't think he
Right.
did, just take the jacket off and you got that set, you got the casual look. I believe Daniel did that too, I think, on one of his pictures. Then you need something that reflects what you do. What do you like to do? Do you like to golf? Do you play tennis? Do you like to go boating?
Are you a workout person?
Yeah, what is it that you do that's different
Right.
from the traditional suit and tie? Because
Yes.
that's going to give you some flair on your social media post. Because you got to remember, you guys are trying to connect to people, right? And relate to people, so they need to see you in different ways.
Yep. Evan, polish up the guitar. Get it ready.
Right. You
Dust
sing.
it off. Because,
Right. Seriously.
That's going to help you a lot. It's going
If-
to help yourself.
Evan's a musician, so if you have something like that, Kendra, you've got Goldens, there's different things that you can do
Right.
that's completely different. What you want to stay away from: stripes, plaids, patterns.
Right.
Even if it's a white shirt, you want to stay away from patterns. You want to stay away from thin fabric shirts. If you've got a white shirt and it's thin,
Right.
don't wear it, because it's not, even though it will look nice if we met you one-on-one,
Yes.
on camera it won't have the same
Right.
impact.
We just had that situation happen with a power team that one had one of those type things, and it just didn't come out right on camera. But also, you want to think about this: is 20 years from now, will this photo look really dated?
Right.
And that'll tell you a lot, because what's the poppin' happening, thing right now? If you can look 20 years from now, will it look dated, and will it look like, what is this they're wearing? Like if you got bell bottoms nowadays, it doesn't look as amazing as it did back in the 60s and 70s, right? But that's not. But they're just people that took pictures back then that had that classic thing. So you want, because seasons and things change, but classic never goes out of style. So try to go for classic, something that'll stand the test of time.
Yeah, it's true. The other thing with patterns, things like plaids, they might seem faint, The problem with patterns is they make your stuff look dated after a while. So you really got to be careful with that, and they can look dated sooner than later. We've had people that come to us with wide collars,
Right.
and I've had to tell them, no, you can't wear that outfit because it's going to look dated, and you don't want to look dated,
Right.
guys. You want to look very now.
Does anybody remember Barney Miller besides myself? I know I'm dating myself. Yes. Barney Miller. Oh my goodness.
And no handkerchiefs in the pocket. Handkerchiefs in the suit jacket looks nice one-on-one. On a picture, it doesn't have that look of the power look for commercial real
Looks like
estate.
you're trying too hard and it's just too much.
Right. You want clean, smooth pattern. See how Mark's jacket is here?
Right.
And how the shirt's very expensive looking. It's thick,
Yeah.
white, starch collars.
Yeah.
You want that kind of look.
Yeah. Starch those collars, get that shirt pressed. And you know it's really a power move for men. If you've got a shirt and it's going to be a single shirt, take it to the tailor and get it tailored for yourself. It'll cost you about $20, but it'll be the best $20 you ever spent. Take that shirt you can take a shirt that you got from any place, that just a basic shirt, and you go get it tailored. You'll be like, I don't think it needs tailoring, but you go to a good tailor and say, can you tailor this shirt for me? You put it on you, and man, that thing will be singing. It'll look like a $200 shirt just by spending 20 extra bucks to get it tailored. Just try it with one. Find a place with a good tailor and get your regular shirt that you got, long sleeve, that you think is okay. Get it tailored, and it'll change your world.
That's true. So guys, photos are like the basis for becoming iconic, right? And when I say iconic, people want like, okay, I see you everywhere, or I remember you, or I stopped to scroll when I'm scrolling to look at your stuff. Oh, I saw that post that you put on there. The reason why you're doing that is because you want to be memorable.
Yeah.
You want to be top of
Stand
line.
out.
So this is where it starts. It starts with your photos. Your photos is everything. Like
Right.
you'll see it so many times. So for my girls, and we're not going to go on my soapbox that I would normally do just for sake of time. So for women, you also need 3 looks. You need a conservative suit or a classic business look of some sort. Then you need an alternative look like a sheath dress or pants and blouse. And then you need your alternative casual look. And that can be anything. Like we have Katie who's into fitness. So Katie is in a gorgeous black suit. She's in a gorgeous white suit, very all business. And then you see her in exercise clothes where we've got her running around the building. So that's because fitness is her thing and helping people take care of themselves. What do you want to stay away from? Same thing, ladies. Stripes, plaids, patterns, and certain florals. Not all florals, but certain ones. If the color is light and got flowers, you probably want to stay away from it. If it's dark and bold, I wish I could show you all Targan's pictures. You want to stay away from clothes that are too revealing, guys. If you got to keep the girls tucked in. You don't need to have that out. You don't need to be wearing if you have hips, you don't need to be wearing a tight dress. Anything that's overly sexual, you just need to be sharp. There's a way to be sexy without having to put everything out there,
Yeah,
So,
and I can speak from a guy's perspective. If you're handling my money, I do not want you to be sexy. If you're handling my money, I don't want that. I don't need that. I need to know that you're on the job. Now you're not trying to be cute.
Right.
You're not trying to be sexy. You're there to accomplish the deal.
So that's one of the things that we've actually had issues with, with people trying to be too
Trying to be
cute.
cute,
It's like
it's like-
forgetting what you're here for. Are you here
Right.
to close a deal? Are you here to get a husband?
Yes.
What are we trying to get?
Right.
So you want to make sure that you're focused on that you look competent, strong, smart, and approachable. You want to be approachable. But things like super short dresses, super fitted clothes, I cannot tell you all how many times I've had to say no. That's why I always have my clients send me, what are you planning on wearing? Girl, guy, I don't care who it is. Send me the clothes, let me see it. Because I know that that's where things can go really, really wrong, is when the outfit shows up, so. You want to stay away from that. 3 people that I love, and I'm going to show you one of them, is Jade Mills. Jade Mills, anybody know Jade Mills? She is a top real estate broker out in California in Beverly Hills. Does a lot of celebrity. I'm going to pull her up real quick, these pictures that I like. She does a lot of celebrity sales. And her clothes are really thought out, like really thought out. She's got
Yep.
she does a lot of high collar stuff. Got it here in this all white, with the light colors.
Classic. You can see this 20 years from now, and
Right.
it'll look just as good.
Yeah, she found her own style and she put it out there. But most of her listings are like 25 million and up. She doesn't do the small stuff. So when you're thinking about clothes, think about a moneyed look, simple, elegant. You don't want to be too frilly. If you don't normally wear curls in your hair, do not put curls. That's not a strong look for business unless you have naturally curly hair. Naturally curly hair, it looks awesome if it's yours naturally. If you don't naturally have it, it's not the time to go Shirley Temple. Like don't put it in because it's not the right look. Before we look at Targans, is Barbara Corcoran. Barbara Corcoran, you all know. Barbara Corcoran was a broker for a million years. She's another one that has a unique style. She does a lot of classic stuff, like the classic sheath dress, the classic black with the nice necklace, with the skirt. Just give some thought to like what it is that you're going to wear. I always love this look.
And what you want to be associated with. Because these images are in our heads as far as what a power professional looks like. So,
Like this dress right here with the necklace. Denise, this is probably in your future. This right here. There's lots of different styles, but you want to look at the problem with women for commercial. Guys, it's easier to emulate, right? We don't have much to model, so go with classic, go with professional, go with what's you, something that's what's you. What questions do you have about photos? Does what I'm saying make sense?
I have a question.
Yes.
So you get your pictures, and then for those who are doing the outside, what advice do you have for editing the pictures?
Yes, there is, if you need to edit some of your pictures, what's the name of that software that you use? There's two things.
The best that I've seen that we use sometimes on ours is called Luminar AI. It's called Luminar AI. You got to have a really good computer to be able to use it. You can't have an old computer and use it because it has it's pretty intensive, but it uses AI to edit your pictures, and it is phenomenal. It's I think it's like $150 or about $150, but it's so worth it because it's just amazing.
So if you wanted to slim yourself up,
it does.
You can slim yourself up. Yeah. If you want to smooth out, maybe you've got bags under your eyes, or you want to take away an extra wrinkle.
You want to make the eyes of your whites of your eyes whiter because of whatever, right? If you want to put a little more smile, a little thinner face, but whatever it is, but it does it with AI, which is so innovative. And this just came out probably maybe 6 months ago, but it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing, and we use it for some of our people. Just to kind of punch up. It doesn't overdo it like a lot of other stuff does, and some photographers will do, kind of overdoes it and it looks really fake, but this doesn't make it look fake. But that's just a tool you might want to have in your tool chest going forward. But the best thing is stick with what you're doing and let the professionals just handle those stuff so you can focus on making these sales and closing these deals,
If you have an iPhone, there are some apps on iPhone, which I can put in I'll put it in the group for you all. There's a couple. There's two of them that
specifically for face.
That's specifically for face. You can't do all the things that you can do with Luminar AI, but if you are not techie and you feel like, I just can't do this, then you may want to use one of those apps if there's something that you want to do. I'll get that for you.
It's called Face app or something.
I would say that they're so simple that an 8-year-old can do it, but my 8-year-old can do stuff that makes me look like I'm a total idiot when it comes to technology. Right. But she uses this stuff to go in and, believe it or not, edit photos.
She does. She does a really good job.
Changes out the photos. So, and there's things that you can do on that. So I will send those. I'll put those in the group so you all can grab those for those of you who don't feel that you can do Luminar AI. All right. So we took a long time to talk about photos. Do you feel like you can go hire a photographer now and know what's going on?
Awesome.
Kendra, yes,
awesome.
You can.
Got two people. Two people are ready. That's
okay.
Awesome.
All right. Good.
All right.
Because you need to be able to do social media graphics. You need to be able to create banners that are strong on your social media page. You need to be able to switch those out. Even for those of you that we've created them for you, you need to be able to switch that out at some point to something else where you might want a different look. You might get tired of looking at your banner. Does everyone know what a social media banner is, right? You know where that is. That's the thing up there, top of LinkedIn, top of Facebook, all that. I want to share a software that's one of my favorites for creating banners. A lot of our banners are video banners, and you can't create video in this, but for regular static banners, I'm going to go to, we sharing the screen, no? We're going to go to a site called Snappa.
And really it's Snappa, S-N-A-P-P-A.
And I'll share the screen with you all so you can see it. My laptop's not working with me today. It's just not, it's not being my friend. Either that or I don't know what I'm doing. One of the two. Okay. Snappa is right here. Can you all see my screen? All right, with Snappa, you all can create a social media post. And this is not the software that I recommend for creating social media posts, but you can do that. We use it for creating YouTube thumbnails, banners. You can create infographics in it, ebook covers, which we use a different platform for ebooks as well. All right here, Facebook cover, event cover, profile pic, SoundCloud banner for those of you that are podcasting using SoundCloud, your YouTube channel art, Twitch, which you all do not need.
No.
Zoom virtual backgrounds, which I don't recommend. Email headers, you don't need that either. All right, what you need is this little thing right here, leaderboard ad, which is what I use to create banner ads on websites. And you need the social media covers. And it's very simple. You just click on create a graphic and you can produce things like this. This is the banner that we have in the group, right? You can duplicate it and create another one. The cover we have for marketing mentorship, someone's YouTube channel. It's very simple. There's Daniel's, one of Daniel's graphics, banner ads. This is a social media post I actually created here because of what I needed to do with the layout. So it's really, you can do a lot with this, guys. And it's really as simple as clicking on create a graphic. They have templates that you can follow if you are not creative. We have the advantage of, just being able to create stuff from scratch. But if you're not creative, let's say you wanted to create let's say we're going to do a Facebook cover. You just click on Facebook cover, and there's templates in here that you can use as a guideline to create whatever you want to create. So let's say we're going to do this one.
Is this free in comparison to like Canva or something?
They may have a free plan. I think it's $15 a month. I think they have a free one though. They have a cheaper one. I use it a lot, so I have a paid plan. But I think they do have a free one. And like that's another one. Like Targan just mentioned Canva. A lot of people use Canva. For whatever reason, I've never loved Canva, but Canva is the one where you can do the same kind of thing, and they have a whole lot more stuff too that you can do. But you go in, you just change your text, you can change your background. It has stock photography in the background. It has like a stock
Searchable.
photography here.
Yeah, you can search for whatever you're looking for.
So you put in commercial real estate, it has a library already there where you don't have to worry about copyright stuff. Even though it looks like most of this is
Right.
not commercial real estate, looks like it's residential. You put your text, and it's going to show you on here how it's going to view. This little section that says desktop only is telling you that you can only see this part of it on desktop. This is showing you up here, this is what you can see on mobile. You change whatever you want to change. You put your logo in, you put your text in, you hit save and download. And it's that simple. Then you go in there and test it out. So if you are looking for a really good software where you can go in and change things out, save it, duplicate all that, you've got Snappa, which is what I use. You have Canva, which a lot of people use. Canva's pretty popular. There, and I'll pull Canva up for those of you who don't know what Canva is. if you have a team, they have a plan. I think they have some kind of promo that's like $2.95 extra. It's like $14 a month, where you can give members of your team access to Canva. So those are two that you can use that have a lot of stuff. But in that, you can create YouTube banners, Facebook banners, and whatever else you need for social media.
And keep in mind your brand colors when you're doing this too. Don't veer too far off, because you want that consistency. You want them to be able to recognize you based on your brand color, your logo color, your design, your fonts. Always want to keep those the same. You don't want to start veering in different directions with different fonts. It causes brand confusion. So you're clear on what your font choices are and what your colors are, so you can have that there, you know, in case you have to outsource it to someone too. They'll be able to be consistent with your brand.
And then the very last thing, then we'll take questions and we're going to go. When it comes to your LinkedIn page,
And what are you trying to share? You're not sure.
yeah, I'm going to share. And guys, I do hope you all take the time to go through your social media while we're doing this mentorship. Actually go through your stuff. Like, don't just, I love it that you all show up for the calls, but make sure that you're taking this time to actually work on your business, because it's a good opportunity, because we're here.
And we know it's not easy.
Yeah, it's
That
not.
It is a
It's
challenge.
not.
It's not something that our brains are wired to do naturally. But that gives you the advantage, because if you do it, you know the competition's not doing it, because it's hard for them too, and they don't have anyone that can really check their work and that they can question. So you want to take advantage.
So this is Daniel's personal page. The banner that I just showed you all in Snappa, you all saw it as a Facebook. That same banner, I was able just to duplicate it and resize it for LinkedIn, and then move things around to make it work. When you all see his business page, which we're setting up for him, it'll have the exact same look. You want to keep the same identity on your personal page as what you have on your business page. Keep it all consistent. And you see how it has phone number, so it's easy to figure out how to contact Daniel.
Right. Some people just throw up a picture without,
Right.
really investing in that real estate. That's like a prime real estate area. So you want to take advantage of that and put exactly what you want them to do on that.
So your banners on all of your stuff, from YouTube to Facebook to LinkedIn, should all have the same content. Even though your YouTube channel banner may look a little bit different, it should have, at a first glance, your phone number, so they know how to find you, your website address, and something that reminds people what it is that you do. So basically, Daniel's your connection to commercial real estate. If you're looking for investment properties, you're looking for development opportunities in Coachella Valley, Daniel's the guy that you call. So that's really all you need. You don't need the flowery, fun stuff for your, like, what do I say? It's just literally, what do you want people to remember you are about, and when should they contact you?
Right.
If you want commercial real estate in Coachella Valley, you call Daniel.
Yes.
The best ads on TV, online, they say it's very simple. You come to us for this Coachella commercial, Daniel Bragg.
Right.
So you want to have your business banner on your personal page, because it reminds your personal network of exactly what it is that you do. The other thing I wanted to point out about your LinkedIn page, over here to the right, is what we have to clean up the most with our clients. You want to make sure that the website, this little section right here, is your website. So it needs to be however you are marketing your company right now for real estate, that's what you want to have here. You don't need to have anything else. So you don't want to have your broker site. A lot of times the broker site is there. You want to take that out. It needs to be you. The other thing that's normally under here is one of the things that we normally have to take out is education. If you have graduated from a college and you think it's going to be advantageous for you to have that there, then cool, have that there. If you are trying to connect with the people that are at some type of school that you went to, cool, have it there. If you are not trying to do that, if you're not trying to connect with someone from your school, if it is not advantageous to you, you don't really need to have your education there. Because that's, remember, you got to remember, LinkedIn started out for this place where you go if you want to get a job, right? And it's morphed into something way more than that. As entrepreneurs, what you care about is your company website. That's it. That's what you really care about the most. That's what you want people to remember, what they need to be able to find. And then this section right here, this is your headline. Target, I see you. I'll be with you in just a second. This is your headline. This is one of the most important things to have on your LinkedIn page and for you to pay attention to. The reason being is that every time you post, give a comment, react to something, it's like free advertising. It's always going to say Daniel Bragg, president of Coachella Commercial. He's a partner at HGH Real Estate Developers. So you want to be careful and make sure that the title that you have underneath this says exactly what you are doing today. Most of the time when people come to us, we have to change that title. I'll give you another person's as an example. Let me just see this for a second. In this About section, LinkedIn will automatically give you a summary, right? That summary sometimes needs work. What do you want to put on this? Either summing up what it is that you do or put your actual bio under here, and you want to put hashtags in. It will help you come up more. This is something that a lot of people don't do, but it's a hack that will help you. If you put hashtags in on your About profile, not tons of hashtags, guys, just a couple, just exactly what you do. Palm Desert Commercial Real Estate Broker is a top keyword in Daniel's market. Then we got Daniel's name, we got Daniel's company. You really don't need much more than that, okay? And then in the featured section, you want to have something. On here, we have Daniel's website, and then we have his lead magnet that's from his website. So a person, and this is done, we do our ebooks. We told you all that we would share a lot of the software that we use. Beacon.b or Beacon.by is what we use for ebooks. It allows him to track. If someone downloads this, it's going to automatically send it to them, and it's going to report that he's got a lead. So you want to have that on your LinkedIn page so you can kind of keep track of what's happening with your marketing. So you want to have something of value.
Yes, beacon.by.
And you'll put like your video, some of your videos will go in here. Like when you all see this again, you will see some of the videos that Daniel did. You can put your videos in here. You can put your listings in here. So Daniel, that new listing that you've got, you can put in here under featured. Not just on your page, we'll put it under featured. And then you want to review your work history. Like Daniel right now is very consistent. He's congruent. It all makes sense. He's a commercial real estate investment advisor. He's the president of the company. He's a partner with a development company. He was a broker at 10X Realty. Before that, real estate consultant, vice president of REO division. Everything else we took out. So if it does not paint a very consistent picture of who you are and that you have what it takes to handle the business that you've been doing this, you want to take it out. For those of you who have gone through the NCREA or even another organization, to get certified in something that's commercial related, you want to make sure you take time, stop, schedule it today, tomorrow, check your license and certifications and update it, because this all paints a very strong picture. Then obviously with endorsements, you can't really control that. You can ask for some, but you can't really control it. And just keep in mind that whenever you express an interest in something, like if you follow something on LinkedIn, it's going to show it at the bottom of the page. So if you're like spying on your competition, you don't want to go like their stuff because it's going to show up at the bottom of your page. Okay, you don't want to do that. And then let me just show you one more. Rand Sperry. Rand Sperry is the founder of Sperry Commercial, one of the fastest growing commercial real estate franchises in the country. With Rand, we changed his up. Because Rand does this banner here, for those of you that are going to grow a team, we didn't create this banner. They had someone in-house created this, and they made this their look before they got involved with us. This became their look for all their companies are supposed to have that banner on there. So you can create one really strong banner that you like like Kendra, you've got a team, and all of your people can have that look. All right, so with Rand, Rand is not just a broker. He has an equities company that he runs full time, and what he does, if you ask him what he does, he's going to tell you that he helps high net worth individuals invest. That's what he does. You know, super high end, high net worth individuals is what he does. Under 10 million to him is too small. Like, that's just like, what? You know, they don't do that. So he does that, but then he also he has a real estate franchise company, right? So what we change his to is that what he does, instead of titles, because we can say his title's chairman, we can say his president, but it's not going to tell you what he really does, right? So what he does is real estate investing for high net worth individuals and trust, and he does franchising for commercial real estate brokers. So if you all are doing something different, like Orlando, you know, if you're doing something different where you are not just a broker, you're not just selling, you're not just doing one thing, you can spell out what it is that you do and put that underneath your name. You don't want to go longer than 2 lines like this one is. You don't want to go any longer than that when it comes to characters. And then what you want to do, and we'll talk more about this when we start talking about your posting strategy and content development, you want to start posting and commenting on people's posts. If you all take an hour a day, half an hour a day, to go in LinkedIn and just start commenting on people that are in your timeline, people that you want to connect with, it's automatically, every time you comment, you are giving yourself free advertising. You know, that you're Rand Sperry, you do real estate investing for high net worth individuals and trust. Whatever it is that you do, you want to spell that out, okay? So you want to make sure that if you don't do anything else with your social media right now, is that you go into your LinkedIn page and make sure it's cleaned up, make sure it actually says what it is that you do, and that the website, your website is right there. And that, like, for this guy, you know, he's local to this area, and he has a lot of connections to California State University, so we left that in there. But you want to stay focused on making sure that right now, that everywhere you post, anywhere a person can look, that says the same story, commercial real estate agent for this market, and that you've got your banners done that's giving you that contact information, the website address, all of that, just like what you all saw with Daniels. All right, I saw some questions in the chat. Targan, you had a question.
Yeah, I have two questions. The first one is, you showed that Rand, Sperry, or even Daniel, let's say, you have 2 separate pages. One's a business page and one's a personal page. Can you go as basic as to just the setup of the secondary? Because when I was trying to do it, it seemed like I was having a little issues, being that I had my initial page. So I just wanted to make sure for that secondary one, establishing it. And then number 2, can you show a comparison on your share screen of the 2? So for example, like Daniel's, if he's like, and I'm just saying random stuff, Daniel, let's say you're a surfer, you love to surf and you play the guitar or something, right? So you might do gigs. So if you were on LinkedIn, you might be going over after that market because you're getting gigs and, you know, this and that. But then you're also a commercial guy. So that's more of a professional. So they're 2 different markets, but they're 2 different pages. So can you show the comparison of the 2? Like, what would that regular page be versus the business page?
Yes. What do you want to do on your business page is most of your posts should be real estate related, right? When it's time for the second thing that you do, you want to mix that in as like your alter ego. So it's a post. Give me 1 second. Why are they not showing up?
You have to scroll down one more. That's all. There you go.
No, that's not them. If you were doing 2 different things, like you mentioned about being a musician and a commercial real estate, what you may want to do is do 2 different pages. That's one. You can have 2 different, have a business page for the commercial real estate, and you can have a page for the other thing that you do.
So it's not like like one page is in Daniel's case. I keep using you, Daniel. Sorry, but one would be Daniel LinkedIn page, and the other one would be Coachella. Is what you're saying?
Coachella commercial would be his other one.
Establish
Yes.
that as Coachella commercial, and then
Yes.
Anybody who wants to know about Daniel, and that'd be more of his personal, but still business level, kind of just maybe more personable on the personal, but then on the business one, it's more of the, hey, this is what I can do. This is why you want to connect with me. For us to
Yes, you want to do on your personal, you want to have mostly one thing. So if it's commercial real estate is your main thing, you want to have that on there. Or if you're a broker and you've got a few different lines of services that you do, have that all on there. But then you splash in there, the something else different that you do. If you have two business pages, let's say you're a musician, so you've got one that's a musician page and you've got another one that's your commercial real estate, what you would do is share your posts from both onto your personal page, as long as it's not conflicting too much. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Atsuko. This is Atsuko's personal page. The same banner that you all saw that you're going to see on her commercial page is here because it's consistent, like what we talked about. She focuses on luxury and international sales.
All these that you're seeing too are clients that Tracy has optimized their LinkedIn's for too. So you're seeing the actual work that was done.
So with her, we took out everything that's not related to her doing real estate because it's not required, because that's the only thing she's focused on is real estate. This right here, the image is not showing for whatever reason, but it's her YouTube video, promotional video. So when you go to her company, it didn't switch, it took her to the experience. Hold on. And if you have two companies, you can put two websites up top. Do we see her? You guys see Sperry CGA Global Estate Link? Okay, you go to her business page, same kind of look, except it's her logo instead of her profile. Talks about what the company does. It's got her videos. She made top 4 broker in the whole country for her network. And then this is a property that we were running ads on that she's trying to sell. And then articles. And so this is a fairly new page. One of the things, guys, you all should be promoting, if there's a project going on in your city that you can get in on to sell, lease, you should know about it and you should be promoting. And when I say know about it, I mean you should actually have the information from the developers. You should know exactly when they're going to release the info, when they're going to release opportunities, and all that. Because these are great opportunities for you to get business. There's Rand again.
Yeah, that's one of the pictures and we were speaking about earlier, the pictures and how you use them as social. We took a picture of them, made it black and white, made the white pop. So captures his core values. We put that on. So understanding who you really are and who you serve and what you really believe and what you stand for and stand behind is going to be clear.
Yes.
I mean, it's going to be really important for you to be able to present that well in your socials.
Which I just realized I didn't show you all why we were talking so much about pictures. All right, these are social media posts. Rand is big into cars. He has a Rolls Royce, he has a Ferrari, and this really cool convertible Land Rover. So because he's into cars and we need to catch somebody's attention, this is one of his most popular, the ones that people responded to the most, is whenever they see him in this car. Because if you meet him, he's very humble, very nice guy. You would not expect the massive success that he has. But we're like, okay, you're into cars, let's show off your cars. So we did this thing because he's recruiting, right? And this is what he does. He makes millionaires we got this from a speech that he did
Right.
when he was talking about why he does what he does and why he hasn't given up on, why he hasn't stopped, why he's still working. And so we took that as I Make Millionaires and we made him that quote. So these are the kind of things that you all can do. If you've got something that you are really into, you can use this as an opportunity to help stand out in your market. This is Rich Enderlin. Rich is now with EXP. Some of you know Rich. If you don't know Rich, you should. He's an awesome guy, really good mentor, and he knows his stuff. One of my favorite commercial real estate agents. At this point, when he was with this company, he was recruiting. He was the COO.
Yeah, and
So-
I took this picture for him right here. And one of the things, another thing for guys too, when you're walking and you don't know what to do with your hands, start buttoning your jacket. If you have a jacket, do that. That's just a little technique. He didn't really need to button his jacket. I just told him, hey, button your jacket while you're walking. And also have him take a picture down, because if you ever see the politicians, they always have a picture of the camera just a little bit under eye level, so it makes them look larger than life type situation. So just a couple of techniques for you to think about.
This is a friend of mine. This is Jim Long. For those of you at EXP, you know who he is. He's the president of EXP Commercial. With him, we have tons of pictures of him. Jacket, no jacket, tie, all that.
But you're speaking without, in the Instagram world, it's going to be really important to have pictures that say what you want to say. And, we're just a very photographic influencer-esque.
So if you're putting yourself out there as an influencer, maybe you're training, you're teaching on something specific besides like Target and Orlando, you all are talking to a specific audience besides, let me represent you in selling real estate. If you were doing something else, Mabel, for those of you who don't know, she's a small business commissioner. There's opportunities for you to be able to talk to other people and include this in your social media campaign. Denise, working investment. This is how you tie everything you do in together. You do sales, and then boom, here's your quotes about what else you do.
Pictures with 1,000 words.
Yes. And this is like reusing photos. You all just saw this photo on a different post. Here it is again. So this is why you need like tons of photos so that you can reuse. And a good photographer can catch candid shots like this. Like this is not Jim posing
Yeah.
for the camera. This is a shot that Ross got while he was talking.
Full on Jim.
Yes, he was being Jim. He caught it.
Yes.
So what happens is we only have one picture. I don't know if you guys know Steve Marrero, but Steve Marrero was CCIM president in 2016. Pretty popular, been in the business for a long time. With Steve, we didn't take pictures of Steve, so we only had this one photo. When you only have one photo, what happens is the same picture has to come up a whole bunch of times. This is why it's important that you get a photographer who's going to deliver a bunch of photos.
Okay, do we have the two back?
Yep, and this is,
And that one thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
and this right here, this is the last thing. The point of this, of getting your photos, is so that you can stop the scroll.
Yep.
That's
What is
the
that?
purpose.
What's that right there? What are they talking about?
Right. Like when people are scrolling through your timeline, their timeline, and you popped up and you're here. Every picture we have with Rand in a car got tons of likes, every last one of them, because it's not your traditional stuff.
Yeah.
Then in black and white. You can take a quote that someone else said about you. Like this right here is just a testimonial. This is not even Rand's quote. These are the kind of things that you can do with your own marketing. Take what others have said about you all and put it in. Like we just got a text yesterday, and I was like, I need to start putting our text up from someone who super successful here. We just did a website for him, and he just got an investor who found him online,
Yep.
loved his website and the videos that were up, and decided that he wanted to invest in him without him even having a full conversation with him. It was from him watching his videos.
And how he set up his site and how he
Yes.
programmed his videos and the psychology behind it. And he was like, man, the guy said before he even met with me, he knew he wanted to work with me. And that's our goal for you guys,
Right.
to have you tell your story so that those who are attracted to you will find you and engage with you without you even having to say it in person.
So everything you post, guys, is marketing for you. This is what we talked about last week. Everything you do is marketing, and everything you do paints a story about you and what you can do. And then when people are ready, they call you, and because you've painted a good picture about yourself.
And please, if you hate a president, keep it to yourself. That is one of the biggest things that I've
Guys,
seen people
seriously.
do. I'm like, you're cutting off half of your market
Yeah.
when you hate any president. you're cutting
Yes.
off half of your
Political stuff, keep
market. Or if
offline.
you love that president, you're cutting
Keep
off
it
half of your
offline.
market. Do
It
not
doesn't
do
matter. It's not that important. It's not
No,
worth.
it's not
It's
worth
not worth losing money. Expressing your opinion is not worth losing money.
Right.
So not in this case. You know, there might be a time,
Because it's
but
not,
not
it's
for
not
this.
logical. Presidential love or political love is not logical, it's emotional.
It's emotional.
People buy with emotions. If you jack their emotions up before they meet you, you have no chance of getting it. Even if y'all could be best friends without them knowing that. But
Yeah.
just don't. Yeah, we got some really
Yes,
good.
ma'am, and thank you very much for both of us.
You are
Yeah.
welcome. All right. I don't see any more questions. Any more questions? Has this been good, guys? Has this, or at least been productive use of time?
Yay!
Okay.
We love thumbs up here.
Would you guys tell me if it wasn't? If it wasn't, would you
Yes.
all like at least reach out to me and be like, "Hey Tracy, you feel like you're wasting my time"? That needs
it
to be a
together.
deal, guys.
Get it
That needs to be a
together,
deal.
guys.
Like if you ever have a class and you feel like I feel like you all totally wasted my
Yeah,
time,
we
you
need
need
to
to
for
tell
that.
me that. Okay.
Yeah, we need to know what,
Yeah, seriously.
what you need more of. What you
If you're like,
do
this is
less of.
just yeah. All right, guys. Joe, we didn't get to see you today, but glad you're here. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Make sure you go through the checklist. More stuff that's getting ready to get posted in the group, like logos, bio templates, the software that we talked about today.
Yes.
Guys, take the time. I know it's a lot and you got a lot going on, but take the time to work through this stuff so that you're ready at the end of the 5 weeks, all right?
You can do this. You
Bye,
are doing
guys.
this. All right.
Have a good one.
God bless them, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye.